Don't choose the favorite Kawhi moment right now. Be like, this night was about Kawhi. What's your favorite Kawhi?
All right, and we're back. Sorry, a few technical difficulties. I actually had my son muted. My bad. So like I said earlier, welcome back to No Good Sports Show. And tonight, after that brutal and defeating loss to against the Clippers, I thought let's just talk about our post game reaction. And on a bright side, let's talk about our favorite Kawhi moment. So, let's start off with Saad because he's always the quietest one amongst us all, and I was told to shut up. So, Saad, I'll let you start. What did you think about the game?
I think the game was obviously disappointing. We wanted to go and win the game.
Yeah,
give a battle.
Everyone wants to win a game.
But I think other than winning, we want to show more fight in our team. Losing by 20 brings the morale down, and then when you see players like Kawhi Leonard hitting easy jumpers, and then he passes off to Paul George, and then another pass, and everyone's open, and I think it's just a disappointing loss.
And
you see in the players I think the confidence has gone low. I don't know what's happened. Last 5 games, 4 else.
I think that's what happens when you play good teams. Raptors are beating bad teams. You beat the Lakers, a good team. You beat Philly. Other than that, what? Portland's has a poor season. Utah's had a poor season. We've lost to all the other teams. Miami, Houston, Milwaukee, Clippers twice. We're just
lost to Celtics as well.
Celtics
by a couple
as well.
Of points.
Yeah. So we're still losing at the end of the day.
No. So you know what though? I'm gonna give Raptors some credit. Like you're supposed to beat that team, and they do that.
Yeah.
They took care of business. They beat teams they were supposed to beat. One thing I think that's evident after this game is the fact that we cannot shoot to save our lives. I thought it was, you could blame it on back team defense. They took care of that this game around. Paul George got shut down, scored 3 of 11, maybe scored some points in the fourth quarter, but they shot not that greatest. Kawhi was very efficient actually. I think 7 of 11, 7 of 12, 25-ish points.
See, but
the point is we're fine defensively. We did decently on the rebounds. We just need to make shots. And throughout the entire team, no one is making shots. Not Lowry, not Siakam, not Freddie when he was active, not OG. Norman Powell is missing shot. Everyone is missing shots.
Let's talk. Okay, I think that's not a fair analysis. Norman Powell scoring above his season average. We're scoring points. We're making shots. We're just not winning.
We're not really making shots.
Yeah. No, but the thing is,
we're not making shots.
If you're making shots, you're winning.
If you're making shots,
okay.
If
Norman Powell's in the past 3 games, he's scoring 25 points per game.
But the rest,
how much are we averaging? We hit 93 against Bulls. Just got past that. 92 against. Today, we're not. You need to hit 100 plus in this league to win.
100%. I agree.
And this year, it's gone even up. I think 100 is not even enough. And 110.
Okay, let's talk about. Okay, but what about their defense? We held every single one of their players to below their season average.
They still won the game.
And they still won the game, but
our defense is not the issue. There were times, over the last 3 games where, Lowry was taking stupid fouls. Siakam was not helping on a lot of the coverage for Gasol. But tonight's game, defense was not the issue. The Clippers do what the Clippers did. They took care of business against a really good defensive team. But at the end, you got to score.
But I think
we did not score. I think at the end of it, we need to make some changes. I don't know if it's roster changes. Someone needs to have a talk. But Raptors need to shoot better because we can't score for the life of us right now.
I get your point, but also I think Nick Nurse is going to have not a hard look, but the plan he's been implementing the last few games against the league's best players, Harden and all, you're able to keep that player quiet. But the league's so good that it's got shooters all around.
Mm-hmm.
You see even big men shoot. So the issue is now, whoever the open man that's left open, they're hitting their shots.
Yeah.
Duncan Robinson hit his shots against us.
Yeah.
Today, I think Mo Harkless was hitting his shots.
Mm-hmm.
You were leaving Lou Williams, who we all know would hit his shots. Pat Bev was hitting his shots. Patrick Patterson, a former Raptor, even he was hitting his shots.
But you know what? You take that kind of risk.
Yeah.
You're right. When you have Kawhi Leonard, when you have Paul George on their team, you take that risk.
Okay, so if you take that risk and they score, which they did score,
But they
and
didn't.
we
they
lose,
didn't
then we
score.
can't complain.
But
If
they
you
didn't
want to take
score
that risk.
100% of the time.
Yeah,
Or, like they
like,
didn't score inefficient.
No one's
Like,
gonna
if
score
you
100%.
No one's
but
gonna score
efficiently,
like that.
Like, if you're gonna take that
they
risk,
shot as a team. They shot efficiently, like 44%. I think they shot from
Mhm.
field. We shot in the 30%. That's a good 10% down. And
Mhm.
like realistically, we can't be having that against the bigger teams. We need our players to step up, not step down.
And if you look at our averages over the last 3-4 games, we are shooting less than 40% for the game. It's brutal.
Yeah.
And you look at Kyle's Lowry average before and after the injury. His points per game not going down, but that shooting percentage goes from almost 50% to 31%, and that's killing us
I
because
think-
we need our veteran guys like Ibaka to
0
shoot
points tonight.
shoot the way they were shooting. Right,
Yeah.
Ibaka was practically playing his career best in basketball before he went down
I
with
think
ankle
we saw
injury.
scored 0 points tonight, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
brutal.
hate
Yeah, it's
it.
brutal. No, we saw Boucher come on and he hit a three right away.
Yeah.
So just an example that everyone nowadays is hitting a three. So I think at the moment Terrence Davis should be getting more minutes. They're struggling. What worse can you do? Just bring on, let him shoot. He was shooting. I think it was
He
first
had
or
15 minutes.
Huh?
He had 15 minutes.
A
Shots
lot of
he
those
said.
minutes was after we were 15, 18 down. It wasn't when the game was like 6-8 down by 6-8.
When you watch the game, you watch it on defensive end, it looks like they're running sets, they're running set plays, they have a game plan that they every time Kawhi or their superstar are going to touch the ball, they're going to double them in the post or anywhere in the full or force them to give the ball up. You saw that against Houston. I think Harden only took 11 shots against us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still scored a lot of points. I mean, not a lot of points.
Scored-
About 7 of 11
Yeah.
from floor. But the point is that on the defensive end, we're ready. And I think Nick Nurse needs to run some set offensive plays for us. I think there needs to be a game plan going into these games so we can be effective.
Yeah, but you're still allowing 112 points today. How many
Yeah,
do we
that's-
allow? How many do we allow
I
against
think-
Houston?
But then,
Miami, we were 108 at the end of
Mhm.
regulation, and they ended up going haywire in OT. You're still giving up almost 110
But you
points.
got to realize a lot of those points are getting scored because we're losing momentum, right? We're not our shots aren't going in. We're losing morale on the defensive end, right? You can say that shouldn't happen, but it will happen when you're shooting 30% from the floor and your 3-point average is barely at 30%,
Yeah, but like
right?
also the fact that we're missing open threes. It's not about we're missing.
Right, so it
heavily
kind of just
contested.
goes back to them us
It's
saying
just about
that.
confidence.
Yeah, we are not confident because we're not making shots, and that's impacting the defense on the floor. We are a winning team, but we cannot be competing for the fifth spot in the East. We gotta be top 3. Like that's where
Yeah.
our comfort zone is, and that's where our identity is.
But we're just not good enough, with all due respect, to be competing in top 5. We
Didn't you
gotta
guys just say Siakam was gonna take us to like top of the East?
Okay, he isn't now. You can but we're not. So you can be
No,
real.
I think you guys,
not-
you were hitting it when we were beating New
Mhm.
York, New Orleans, Orlando. I at that point, a lot of people were joining in the Raptors and Pascal.
Okay,
Siakam.
well, you want us to go a team that's on a 7-game winning streak to be? Do you want me to be like, oh, they're not gonna be at the time they're second place in the East? Do you want me to be like, oh, they deserve to be 6th or 5th or 6th in the East? No, I'm gonna go with the trend. They're at the time they're playing like they were.
So
the
you're
best
just
team in the
saying-
league.
Also about like
You're bad.
morale and confidence.
That's not how bandwagoning works.
No, but you're just okay. Before the season
when
started,
they're playing
before
good,
the season,
I'm a Raptors fan for life. If we're playing good, I'm gonna be optimistic about the team. When we're playing bad, I'm gonna be more pessimistic. That's how
No.
basketball works.
Okay,
Do
no.
you want us to be first place in the league? We were first place in the league after like 4 or 5 games, right? Do you want me to be like, oh, we're finishing 8th place? No, for first, I'm gonna say we're the best team in the league at that point, which we
You
were.
guys have a point.
And
Okay,
you want
I
me
get
to
your
be
point.
we're what are we like probably 5th or 6th now because we lost a bunch of games.
Yeah, I think we got
We're
Do
fifth.
you want me to be like, oh no, we're still in first place? No, we're not in first place. Like, we're 6th place in the league, man.
You know what? Once we get our shooting averages up, we can shoot better. We are a second team in the East. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But the only thing I won't give is I think Siakam still needs to improve.
I think
he
we'll
was
see that.
trying to be a little bit more aggressive today, but he missed a lot of layups that he would normally
yeah, but
hit.
everyone's missing shots.
But you know what?
You're allowing-
Not layups though.
No,
Layups.
no.
He's the only, he needs to be aggressive. Like demand the ball. If you're gonna miss 50 shots again, I don't care. But Siakam needs to go find his identity again, and his
First,
identity is being
Yeah, I think I got a
aggressive.
question.
We have a question
Oh
here.
no way! That's
So
our,
just
is that
a
our first
question here from SK. What do you think is the reason the Raptors started off the season so well, but have since fell off?
I easy schedule. You can't go against that.
Actually, I don't agree with that.
Well, okay,
Actually,
how?
I think it's
Can I tell you guys our first?
No, we were doing well when we were injured.
That's the point. That's the point. I'm not saying that because of injuries we weren't doing well. I think because Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka were injured, and we knew they were going to be injured for 2 to 4 weeks.
That's not fair.
Okay,
because
No, I'm not saying that they're really
you don't agree with the easy schedule thing. Let me tell you our first couple games. New Orleans, okay? We beat them in OT. That was the first game of the season. Celtics, we lost them second game of the season. Bulls, Magic, Pistons, we lost to the Bucks. Kings, Pelicans, we beat the Lakers. Good job. We lost to the Clippers. Trailblazers, we lost to the Mavericks. These are all bad.
You can Google search something. All right, first, it was not the schedule. It was the fact that our chemistry was on point.
Yeah.
The ball was
Rotation.
moving immaculately between a 2-point
Okay,
guards.
let
me speak. Then Kyle Lowry got injured. The pressure was on our younger guys to step up, and they stepped up. 20 games, 10 with Kyle and Serge, 10 without them. So it was the chemistry point there and a little bit of motivation. The schedule was difficult for us in the first 20 games or so. Now, for the rest of the season, we actually had one of the easiest schedules. It was difficult, not because the teams we were facing, but the fact that we were traveling a lot from Los Angeles, playing Lakers and Clippers back-to-back, traveling from Utah to Denver.
A player never complains about that. Why would you?
Of course they don't.
No,
Players will never
actually
complain about that. When was the last time LeBron complained about his schedule?
Because it's not a fact. I don't believe
but
that's
you
a factor.
cannot
That's
take
part of
away
the
the
job.
fact that it's a factor. Fatigue is a factor. Siakam and
You're
Fred
saying they don't
VanVleet.
sleep on planes and what they do? They get
But you
arrested.
think that's comfortable sleep? Have you ever been on a plane?
No, I haven't. Not in a while, actually.
Fred
But-
VanVleet and Siakam are averaging 40
Okay,
minutes per game. Fred VanVleet's playing the most league in minutes. So, of course, they're fatigued. Of course, Siakam decline is somewhat explained because of the fatigueness of it. They had a difficult schedule. Now it's going to get easier. But the thing is, reason why we're losing now is because we're missing shots. But you cannot take away the fact that some of our players are tired.
So-
Marc Gasol is tired because he's played all summer. He played basketball. He has no rest. He needs to be load managed.
Okay, explain to me in
But
our
we've had
first
home-
6 games
we've had
against.
home
Wait, hold on. Explain to me how in the first 6 games of us playing above 500 teams, so good teams, we've lost 3 of them with our good chemistry-filled roster. We've lost them. Milwaukee, Boston, and
To be
Clippers. Explain to me why we lost if our chemistry is so good.
the Celtics game, second game of the season, everyone's kind of rusty.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not blaming on that. Come on, you can't just come up with excuses.
No, but the thing is,
that's the
that's
point
true,
I'm
though.
trying to make.
No,
it's true.
Everyone's saying, "Oh, Marcus Gasol shouldn't be in the team. He can't jump. He can't do anything. He couldn't mark anyone." We see the more rest, the more minutes he gets, the better he becomes.
And
so we can't judge a team. Oh, second game of the season. Oh, they're so bad. We can't come first. Like chemistry comes with them playing and not playing.
So
when
you're saying we had
didn't
chemistry
play-
at the beginning of the season? Well, we had chemistry not for the first 2 games, we had it for the rest. And then come on,
Are you
come
being
to the
It
stupid
schedule.
right
builds.
now?
That's how it builds.
Yo,
Yeah,
chemistry.
that's how
you
it
guys
actually
are building.
You
builds.
just seek information to support you guys. That's not
The
fair.
second Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka came back, there was an impact of how we played. Right, Siakam's decline is somewhat explains that because he was not being aggressive with the ball. But our chemistry is one of the reasons why we had such a strong start to the season. We were shooting the ball well. Everyone on the team, from number 1 all the way down to number 15 on the bench, played great minutes. Not great minutes, but they played incredibly efficient in the minutes they were allocated to them. To a point where Rondae Hollis-Jefferson wasn't playing at all. He was not in the rotation at all in the first few games. And when he started playing, he was forced to be embedded into our normal rotation. That's how good our chemistry got. So you cannot say our chemistry wasn't there. Right now, we just got to.
I'm not saying you guys are saying that.
We literally
In the
just
beginning,
said that.
we're saying
You said it was
So
because of
when was
you said yourself first
chemistry
game
there.
against
Right
Pelicans.
It was the Orlando game.
Okay.
The second we won that game, Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka came back.
And you're blaming that on chemistry. Our team for the first couple games were the exact same as it was last season. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson didn't start playing until Kyle Lowry and Ibaka got injured. Same with any
So
other.
we lost our starting set of small forward. We lost our starting shooting guard.
But everyone else was there
But
together.
the Toronto
no,
Raptors are not the same team as they were last year because a team without a superstar Kawhi Leonard is not the same team with Kawhi Leonard. Like, we're not the same team we were last year. Like, that's just a fact. Like, you cannot argue that. So this season, the reason why we're doing bad right now, number 1, not making shots, chemistry, and Siakam and Fred VanVleet are fatigued. You can tell. Like, he's not running as much for a guy who's young and, still getting paid $35 a year. That's going to kick in next year. He's just not playing great. They're tired. A lot of traveling, and is that a new question?
I did not.
All right, that's just
I do not think travel time is an excuse because it's never been used as an excuse. Why would it depend?
No player will ever come out and say,
So you
I'm
can, if no
tired.
player will, then you can't just.
Look,
assume,
okay,
oh,
two
no, but I
seasons
think
ago,
it's-
2 seasons ago, when.
Oh, maybe
when-
Kyle Lowry's
no,
having
2 seasons
wife
ago.
problems at home.
Okay, no, 2
Marital
seasons
problems.
Yeah,
ago.
but you see, you will never know that.
So same
what
way
is-
we'll never know about fatigue.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't read enough to actually understand that is a
You-
problem inside the NBA. Fatigue is an issue. Being in an airplane for several hours in a day is an issue. Staying in a hotel room will get you tired. It's not the same as being in your home. Traveling to Utah to play, for example, or going to Denver, which is Mile High City,
We never
right? It's not the same thing. We haven't been there, but it still adds
Okay,
to
what
the
about
fatigueness
past
fatigue.
4 games we lost everything except for the Philly game have been at home.
Well,
Call fatigue for that. There's no fatigue. We're just
no,
playing
we
bad.
shot shit. We were
shot
garbage.
poorly.
So
Like,
you
we
guys-
have to put our hands up. Like, we have to put some of the blame on
We're-
ourselves.
So, okay, put it
right
this
now
way.
we're a
we
bad
haven't
team.
played.
No,
we haven't
the
played the
eight-
best basketball in the last.
And I don't
weekend.
think fatigue
Our,
is
our problem
I
at
think
the
we're just
moment
bad.
is we're not bad against the bad teams. It's can we prove ourselves against the good teams? Because when it comes to the playoffs, you'll have a best of 7 against that team, and that team will know you inside out, and you will also know them. But if they already have your number in the regular season, the teams we've lost to: Miami, Clippers twice, the Bucks, Celtics, Dallas, Houston, and there's one more I can't remember at the moment.
We also Clippers.
Clippers twice already.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, I don't agree
Dallas.
with that because I don't
Dallas.
think we need to worry about the playoffs just yet. I think when the time playoffs come around, I think we can easily take on the Heat. We can easily take on Philadelphia.
I don't think we
In a
can.
The
7-game
only
series, I think.
7-game
If
series. The
fatigue
only
is an
issue.
then
You see, like you just don't. If just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean it's not a thing. Fatigue
But
is
yo,
an issue
fatigue
that
will be
players
on
go
both
through.
teams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's, if fatigue will go be on both teams. Why aren't Clippers affected by fatigue? Why is
Because
they
right
just score?
Because they got
First
one
all,
of the
Kawhi
best
load
teams.
managed so much that he didn't play the
Mhm.
last game. He had like a 4-day rest before this game. He didn't play on Monday because he had a back-to-back. So he was healthy since I think Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
So there's his fatigue going out the door, and he was the best player on the court for both teams.
And your fatigue thing. If someone said to you 2 years ago about load management, you'd have the exact same reaction right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, yes, you would.
What was my
Load
reaction?
management.
Right now?
Oh, your reaction is fatigue's not a thing. You would say load management is not a thing.
But
Just-
Kawhi's
just-
not load managing because he's tired. He's load managing for his knee. Because you know why? Because Zaza Pachulia attacked his knee, freaking ruined his knee. That's
Well,
why.
actually,
He
Zaza
load
attacked
managed.
his
He attacked whatever the hell he attacked. Did Kawhi load manage a single game before he got injured? No, he did not.
Well,
He-
because no one
load
actually
managed-
understood what
actually
his injury
understood what
was.
problem-
No, he started doing it after he played all 82 games with no problem. You can't.
He did not play all
He did not play.
Yeah,
games.
okay,
He hasn't
maybe
played
for like an
games since,
injury,
rookie
but he did not.
season.
But maybe because he was injured, but not because of
Alright, look at it
load
this way.
management.
But
the way
his
he
numbers
did.
as
What?
good.
Isn't-
Were his
not
numbers
true.
as good in the regular season?
Yeah, well, ever since before his injury, he did not load manage it because he was.
Because
take
that
care of
wasn't
his
a
tired.
thing. It wasn't a thing. Oh, think about it this way. Right now, isn't the league considering minimizing the games? We've heard it already that they're thinking about bringing it down from 82, and we already heard something about a mid-season tournament.
They're already
or something.
extending the number of days spent inside the NBA season so they can space out the games.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
I've
is
never-
getting done over the last
I
2
do not.
years.
Okay, fine. If
Look,
and
you
if
cannot
the
ignore
Clippers'
the
strategy is to arrest Kawhi Leonard to be.
That was
more
our Toronto
energy
Raptors
or things, then why
strategy
aren't we
too,
doing that for other players? Then they're just preparing for that. That's
Hold
what
on,
they're
hold on,
doing, If you want to use
Why
that.
don't you agree with that strategy? Because Toronto Raptors did that last year and won the
Yeah,
championship.
Okay, fine. If
Like-
use that strategy, but we didn't.
But no, but the
He
thing
not use
is
that strategy for rest. He used that strategy to repair his calf or
But the
whatever.
thing
hell
is,
he
to a
used.
certain extent, that is rest.
At the end of the day,
Okay,
you're
then
still
good
gonna
on,
have to
good on
rest.
the Clippers. A beautiful job to the Clippers for resting their star player. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, that's what
If that's
we're.
an issue.
We don't have a
multiple-
player
we don't have
that
multiple
needs
stars.
that.
Then we can't use fatigue for an issue.
We
If
don't-
we're not
we don't-
willing to fix, if you guys believe fixing it is not.
All right. I think you should move on from this topic because I think we spent a lot of time on this one. So let's move on.
I have a question.
Do you have
for
any
you
other
guys.
questions? No,
I
I
have
think
a
we're
question
good.
for you guys. What comes next? What do we do next?
I think
Our
we just need to make our shots. We need to make our shots. I think that's what it is at the end of the day.
Okay, that's a
Um,
bit too big in my opinion.
Well, no, like honestly, that's what it is. We're missing open shots. Like you see Kyle, you see Siakam, OG take some of those threes, and you're like, shit, man, we make those.
Oh yeah, he
Right?
did make those. Oh, Siakam
Especially
did.
like those pull-up threes that Kyle's taking, missing everything. Siakam, some of the layups he missed. OG, some of the threes he took, they were like, man, I can't believe we missed them. Norm took a lot of threes that were open to a certain extent. He still missed them. So honestly, to start off, just make your shots and be confident in our offensive game. We're just not. We expect something to happen out of nothing, right? Like to a point where Ibaka was even setting a screen for Lowry this time around, which is a very out of character.
I think the good point you made was we're missing open shots,
Mm-hmm.
and that goes back to Nick Nurse. At least we're making plays. Like we've seen
Mhm.
plays that are being made, even if it's not Nick Nurse. Like on the floor, we're getting players open. So we
Mhm.
can't blame that to the coaching. We can't blame that to players not setting screens or anything. That's on you. If you're missing open
Mhm.
shots, there's an issue right there.
Yep.
And if, for example, like Serge Ibaka couldn't a single point today, it's on him.
Yeah.
He needs to take a step back. Nick Nurse needs to realize maybe get Boucher in earlier.
Yeah.
Because that's what the team about. Who's hot needs to be on.
Mhm.
And that's what the Clippers are doing with Harkley.
More.
Harkley.
More Harkless. Yeah.
Yeah, Harkless. Sorry. He was open a lot today because Kawhi
Mhm.
Leonard and Paul George were open, but
Yeah.
he took advantage of that. He hit
Yeah.
his layups, he hit his shots. He hit
You gotta
his
give what's
mid-range.
given to you. You gotta,
Exactly.
and you know what? This is a players' league, and if you're competitive, you get your minutes. And to be honest, I think we should have shut down Ibaka a while ago because of the fact he was just not hot at all. A lot of the elbow jumpers he was making in the first 10 games of the season before he got injured, they were just not there for the past couple of games ever since he came back. And I think that kind of goes back to your point of us just not making shots. All right, moving on from tonight's
I think we'll just
horrible
finish
game.
off. Just finish it off. Your favorite Kawhi moment.
Yeah.
We didn't say it at the beginning.
Oh,
might as well
There's
finish
a
it off.
quiet appreciation night. Beautiful race ceremony. by the way.
The triple.
I was
video
expecting
very
a speech,
touching.
to be honest. I was expecting a speech,
But you don't
but
expect
sorry.
it from the nice guy.
You know
Fun
what?
guy.
Fun guy.
Fun guy.
How did you mess that up? But you know
Fortnite
what?
gets paid.
His hair was looking pretty crisp tonight. I think he got a haircut when he came to Toronto. It's a Toronto thing. My favorite Kawhi moment has to be a Quactus. It has to be that because you know what? That guy was either drunk or high or both, and I have my money on both. But whoever that dude is, he's one of my favorite people in Toronto.
So, yours, no final thoughts.
Mine's pretty obvious. The Charlotte Philadelphia Game 7.
Oh
last
no
year.
way! All right,
I think it's gonna stay with me wherever we go, and especially in the tribute video today, the way they represented it with
the
his
Lego
steps.
shot.
I mean,
Oh,
the
man,
Lego
tell
steps
us-
Shot, the steps.
Yeah. All right, fair
in
enough.
the tribute video.
I think that was epic. Like that's something nobody was expecting. That was just absolutely
What about you,
immaculate.
Mine would be when Spurs came to Toronto last year and past versus present at the time.
Mhm.
Kawhi stealed it from Rose for the game-winning shot. We were at the theaters actually during the game. We watched it on our phones at the theater. Super hyped in the theater, quiet movie theater, and that was probably one of my favorite moments. And that's when I truly realized, we made the right choice by getting Kawhi instead of
I think
Rose.
that moment was
That moment.
That moment.
Because you realize how bad Rosen was.
What about you?
I think early on in the season we had a game against Boston.
Oh, double block?
The double
Double
block
block,
of him and Danny Green.
Mhm.
I think at that point when we beat Boston, it was a home game. It was hyped.
Yeah,
I think
that
when
was
we won
defining
that,
moment.
everyone realized, we actually got a shot at this
Mhm.
year.
Yep.
It's not going to be the same thing. Conference finals, second round, and we knocked out. We got a chance this year.
I
And
know.
think they
I
went-
know. There's one more moment that we've talked about before. That dunk over Giannis in Game 6.
Oh man, tell
That's
me
always in
about
our.
it.
Like,
Oh, you know
that's
what?
very close to me.
Are we going to agree our favorite moment? Championship. June 13th.
Yeah.
2013.
Ooh.
It doesn't.
Yeah. when
So
you-
I actually took this hat to me with Japan talent. Everyone who saw it stopped me talking about Toronto Raptors, and we became best friends for the entire trip.
Our background is actually the Raptors.
Yeah. Well, we're still the champions. We may not be next year
Well, who knows?
if we keep this up.
Who knows?
And you know what? Till we meet next time, whenever that is.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. Also follow us on our social media platforms. Comment what you guys thought about our show, and follow us on our own Instagram page called the No Good Sports Show.
How long was this?
Thank you.
Later.